Hey guys, it's Alexis, aka The Sloth Reader, and I'm here today to do my TBR for Feminist Literature February. First off, I do want to apologize that I didn't upload any videos Monday and Friday this past week. Mostly it's because I didn't film any videos, which means I didn't have any videos to edit. I kind of have been feeling very crummy the past week or so. And it's the kind of crummy where I honestly didn't want to do anything. So I didn't film anything. I should have, and I'm sorry. So I just wanted to apologize to you guys for that. I'm super excited to be participating in Feminist Literature February. It is hosted by Jane at It's Jane Lindsay. I will link her channel down below. I love her. You guys should all go watch her and subscribe. She is an inspiration and she's super feminist, and some of the sass that she puts into her her book reviews and her wrap-ups when she's talking about some of the books that she didn't like just makes me burst out laughing. And she's totally unapologetic about everything she says, and I totally respect that. And yeah, you guys should totally check her out. Obviously, the goal of Feminist Literature February is to support women and to support female authors and, you know, feminism and fighting for the equality of women, and that is something I'm totally here for. And so when I saw that she was doing this, at first I wasn't sure I was going to be able to find a way to do it, just because I do have so many yearly goals myself that I was like, I don't know if I can, but I am going to totally make it work because I want to participate so bad. So we'll go ahead and get into it. The first is to read a book with a feminist protagonist, and to be honest, I'm not sure, since I've never read this book, if the feminist herself is particularly feminist. But I know that it's considered like a feminist classic, in a sense, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This is of course one of the books I wanted to get to this year anyway, and part of the reason I wanted to read it so bad is because I've heard it's just like a super feminist dystopian, and that ticks all my boxes. I'm not actually sure if Alfred, the main character, is actually feminist or not. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that this book is like super feminist in thematic elements, and it's one of the books I wanted to read this year anyway, and so I figured this would be the perfect challenge to go ahead and read it. Next is to read a work of feminist nonfiction, and I didn't really know what to do for this one, so I kind of just went to my library and kind of looked at their nonfiction section and some of their biographies and stuff to kind of see what I could pick out that would fit this challenge, and I actually got two nonfiction books. They're both small and they're both a little bit different, and that's just because a lot of times I have trouble reading just chunks of nonfiction. Something about it just, it doesn't grab my attention, so I bought two things that are a little bit different, that both still qualify, that I'm really excited to read. So yeah. The first thing I picked up is Our Lady of Birth Control, a cartoonist encounter with Margaret Sanger. For those of you who don't know, Margaret Sanger is the activist who fought to legalize birth control in the United States. She's an absolute inspiration of mine. She's one of my personal heroes. I absolutely love her, and I already know a very, very good amount about her life. She also went on to found the organization that would eventually become Planned Parenthood. And yeah, I mean, she was just such an activist, and she was all about reproductive and sexual rights for women. And I've done so much research on her already that I'm very well familiar with her life and her story. But I really like this. This is actually a graphic novel about the author, Sabrina Jones. She kind of found out about Margaret Sanger's life, and so she decided to write this graphic biography, basically, about what happened in Margaret Sanger's life and how it's kind of relevant still today. And so I saw this, it was very interesting, and I was like, that's an interesting way to seek or to revisit Margaret Sanger's life. The next work of feminist nonfiction I picked up is Rad Women Worldwide, Artists and Athletes, Pirates and Punks, and Other Revolutionaries Who Shaped History, written by Kate Schatz and illustrated by Miriam Klein-Stahl. And so this is just basically almost like an encyclopedia about just super influential women throughout history. So they've got like Frida Kahlo and a bunch of other people who have just been, you know, super influential, and I really liked this because this is obviously a worldwide thing, So there will obviously definitely be women in here I know about, but there will also be women I don't know about because they might have had a more regional influence. And so I'm interested to learn more about international women who have, you know, done a huge service to mankind. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to read this. I don't even think this one is 100 pages, so I know I'll get through it pretty fast, but I'm kind of just hoping to read like a couple of the entries a night until I finish this before the end of February. The next challenge is to read a diverse book, preferably own voices. I have 2 books that I would like to read for this challenge. I'll admit the first one is probably not the most feminist book that I could have chosen, but like I said, I have certain goals that I wanted to make this year, and one of them was to read this book and this book series, and it is diverse in its way, especially in the YA community, and so I just figured this would be a good place to kind of put it in, and that is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Obviously this is a cute, light contemporary about a girl and the guys that she's previously been in love with, so I doubt this is going to be the most feminist thing I've ever read, but it does feature a Asian main character. I'm not sure, well, Asian American main character. I'm not sure what ethnicity Laura Jean is, but I also know that Jenny Han is also of some sort of Asian ethnicity. I'm not really sure which one, and so I do know that this book does get a lot of points from a lot of people for that reason, because there are like no Asian main characters in YA. There are like a handful of them, so I definitely want to read this for that reason, and I just figured that this would be a good place to try and squeeze it in. The other book I want to try and read for this is a new release in February, and that is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. This is an LGBT story, as most of Nina LaCour's stories are, and it is in voices because Nina LaCour does identify as queer. So I'm hoping to read this one when it comes out. I think on like the 14th of February, I believe. That's a huge release date for a lot of books, so I'm hoping to read this one when it comes out, and yes, hopefully I'll finish it in time for February. February is such a short month and I have a lot of books I want to read. The 4th challenge is to read a book by someone who identifies as female, non-binary, or gender fluid. I don't have a specific book that I want to do for this challenge because, to be honest, I have a lot of books that I want to read this month and they're all written by women, and I'm going to kind of try to only read books written by women this month, the exception being that my series goal for the year is Percy Jackson, and I really can't afford to miss a month where I'm reading the Percy Jackson series. So I will definitely probably finish The Titan's Curse at some point this month. And one of the books on this list technically has a male author but a female illustrator. But with the exception of that, I am trying to read mostly women this month. And I plan on finishing Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty and also reading Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I'm also hoping to read the other books that I mentioned on this list, as well as 2 other new releases in the month of February, which is Glass Sword by King's Cage by Victoria Aveyard, and A Conjuring of Light by Victoria Schwab. So there's like a whole bunch of books written by women I'm hoping to read this month. So yeah, I pretty much have this one definitely covered. The last one is to basically ask a feminist for a book recommendation, and I asked, let's be honest, all of my friends are pretty feminist, so I could have chosen any single one of them, but I went ahead and chose the one person who I wasn't sure what I would get recommended. Some of my friends, if I asked for a recommendation, I could have probably predicted what book they would tell me, so I went ahead and asked my friend Liz, who is awesome, and she's funny, and she's amazing, and I love her. And I basically was just like, hey, I'm doing this feminist readathon, give me a book recommendation. And so she suggested that I read Saga by Brian K. Vaughan with illustrations by Fiona Staples. And this is probably, I guess, her favorite graphic novel series since it's the first one she suggested to me. And I know, crazy, right? I haven't read Saga yet, but I've been a little hesitant. I've gone to the store multiple times to go and try and pick it up. And I've never been quite... I flipped through it and I've even spoiled myself for a couple of things in the first volume just see if it was something I would be interested in. And I think I've been hesitant to pick it up because I've basically heard it's like Romeo and Juliet in space, and I hate that. I hate Romeo and Juliet so much, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try. I'd like to possibly read the first 2 volumes of Saga this month. Again, they're graphic novels, so they're pretty short. But I'm hoping to go ahead and read 2 of those this month if I can. And if I like the rest of them, I can just buy the rest of them. But yeah, at least the first 2, unless I absolutely hate the first one, then obviously I'm not going to read the second one. But yeah. Anyway, so that is my TBR for Femlit February. I'm really excited about it, like I said. I've been wanting to like tweet about it and like as I've come up with all the books, but I was waiting to film this video. But I'm very, very excited about it, and I hope that if I follow the hashtag on Twitter, we're gonna get some super awesome conversations going, and we're just gonna, you know, be down with the patriarchy, and I'm so excited. But if you guys are participating, you should absolutely let me know what you're reading, or if you have any comments about any of the books I'm talking about. And if you're not following Jane Lindsay, totally go do it. She's awesome, and I'll see you guys soon with another video.